if you fail to plan, you actually plan to fail. 1 out of 3 toppers have been to Abhyas because they want students not to read the secondary sources. They want at least they should read the primary sources, those articles which are frequently in news. Many students don't qualify because they don't know that they can qualify.
Hello, aspirants. Welcome to our conversation series with esteemed faculty members of Vision IS. In today's video, we have with us Amil Hassan sir of Indian Polity. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, UPSC Prelims is on 16 June 2024 and it is a crucial time period for the student. In this context, what are some of the key challenges that aspirants face?
Regarding the challenges that you were talking about, I feel the first challenge that has evolved over the period of time is the changing dynamics of UPSC prelims question paper. So they have largely been concentrating on non-conventional areas. So that is something which remains a challenge because the syllabus at the prelim stage remains a bit gray. Okay, while in mains they have meticulously drafted the syllabus. So the changing pattern of UPSC and evolving oneself to adapt to that remains the first challenge. Second challenge is time management. Time management is a key challenge because the syllabus remains vast and that has to be covered in a stipulated time. Third is too much of information. We live in an era of bombardment of information. Although there is democratization of knowledge, that is something which is very good. At the same time, it is a double-edged sword. It comes with bombardment of information. So that remains a key challenge. One has to know what not to study, importantly. Then is CSAT. If you see over the period of time, UPSC has made CSAT a bit not that easy. And for some students, especially of humanities background, I have been coming across that they find a bit what you call a bit more effort is required, a bit challenging in the comprehension in the quantitative aptitude part. So CSAT also is a challenge.
Sir, you have mentioned all the challenges very comprehensively. So, what advice do you have for the students to overcome these challenges?
Regarding the changing dynamics of the question paper, UPSC wants to what you call democratize the process. So from non-conventional areas, they are asking questions from newspaper. And common sense is the biggest demand of UPSC. So reading newspapers would cater to the first thing. And while reading newspapers, linking it with using internet so that the terms that are frequently appearing in newspaper, finding some quality literature over internet would work. Regarding time management, one can make a plan for next few days when their prelims is fast approaching. So plan, because it is a famous saying that if you fail to plan, you actually plan to fail. So plan can be made. Regarding CSAT, different students have different aptitude. Those who are finding it tough in comprehension, they can do that. Those who are making are quite not that easy in quantitative aptitude can go through that, practice few papers. That is something which is there. So CSAT, time management, overburden of information, and changing dynamics. These are the recommendations which I would give.
So, time management is one of the crucial challenges for the aspirants because they have to navigate between the static portion, current affairs, and also for revision. In this context, what advice do you have for the students to effectively utilize their time?
Regarding time management, they can avoid reading new areas. So rather than venturing into new academic domains, they should rather devote that time for things that they have already read. Of course, if they miss something very pertinent, they can cover that. Otherwise, I don't think there is a reason to go into new domains, first thing. Second, students are best conscience keepers of themselves. So they know that which are the areas where they can save time. Of course, I would not suggest them to save time from sleep time, like that is also necessary, but leisure time can be curtailed for the time being. That is something which is there. Okay, so these things they can do, and they can make a roadmap that what is to be done in next 50-60 days. They can have a plan, because it is a famous saying that if you fail to plan, you actually plan to fail. So they can chalk out a plan for themselves how they are going to go in next few days which are going to go.
So, you mentioned that taking tests and analyzing one's performance is key to doing better in UPSC exam. So, in this context, what is Abhyas Prelims 2024 all about?
See, there is a famous saying that if you want to play cricket, if I give you the best book on cricket, you would not learn cricket. Cricket can only be learned by playing. So even if the students read all the literature available for humankind, prelims won't be an easy task if they don't practice papers. So practicing papers is something which is absolutely necessary. I would call it a prerequisite. Abhyas undoubtedly is a monumental exercise. It is a stellar experience. It is something which is unparalleled till now. That this is something which gives you a real time experience, and you feel the psyche of UPSC, and more than 100 cities, more than 25,000 students appearing at the same time. This is something which is too much. Okay, it is colossal. So Abhyas is going to be very effective in this. I would strongly recommend them to appear for Abhyas.
So, how can students effectively utilize Abhyas?
Utilizing, I would say that will give them a real time experience, as I already mentioned. Post exam analysis is very rich, that will give them access to information, and broadly, in a broad manner, it covers the horizon of the syllabus. So that is something which is there. Then they will get to know their level of preparation and where do they stand, because 1 out of 3 toppers have been to Abhyas. So that gives them a real what you call evaluation of their preparation. So that is something which is.
So, moving on to subject specific discussion, what is your advice for students to approach polity in the next 2 months?
Regarding polity, if you see in last 3-4 years, because the questions that were asked before 2020 are something which are very conventional questions: who takes a decision under the 10th schedule, or the questions which were directly asked. If you see the questions from 2021, they have been asking question about Official Secrets Act, Indian Prisons Act, judicial custody, payroll, and then if payroll and furlough, judicial custody and police custody. They have asked questions on punitive detention, preventive detention. So the questions are largely can be very broadly classified into two parts. One question out of 13-14 questions which they are asking in polity, 5-6 questions they are asking from static areas, which they ask that what you call who takes what is that the principal seat of Supreme Court, what do you mean by judicial review, some basic things which you get to know, or about fundamental rights, or Article 38, the mandate of welfare state, or for that matter social, economic and political justice, or liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship, from preamble. These questions. Second part of the exam that they are asking from Official Secrets Act, or the dynamics part. So this is something which is one has to what you call be very vigilant while reading newspaper. For example, if I'll give you a few examples. For example, there was constant news about the office of honorable governor. So one has to be aware about Article 163 of the Constitution, relationship between governor and his council of ministers. Getting my point? Article 164, appointment of minister. There was an issue in some states. Then calling of an assembly session. Then most important, approval of bills under Article 200. So I would say the static part can be covered from any text that you are doing. The dynamic part, I would say, few things that have been in news, intricately link them with current the constitution. So, for example, calling of an assembly session, appointment of a minister, or approval of bills, the articles in the constitution related to that have to be studied. So, because UPSC is asking a question according to Constitution of India, this the term judicial review is mentioned. According to Constitution of India, Attorney General is resigns when the government changes. So they are asking question directly by mentioning according to Constitution of India, because they want students not to read the secondary sources. They want at least they should read the primary sources, those articles which are frequently in news. So first, what they can do, they can go through the basics. Second, prepare a list of topics that have been in news last 1.5 years. What are the articles in the Constitution related to those topics, and what are the other provisions?
So, in this context, what could be few high yielding areas from polity?
Okay. High yielding areas, yes, they can be, I can very easily summarize them. If I see the office of governor remains pertinent, especially related to the approval of bills, calling of an assembly session, as I said. Federalism remains a key one, relationship between center and state. A new parliament has been constructed, so the provisions of delimitation, for example, you have Article 81, Article 82, Article 329, Clause 1. Then we have calling of a session of parliament, Article 85, Constitution of Parliament. Okay. So I would say delimitation and the various aspects related to parliament, office of governor, federalism, privileges committee, ethics committee, especially the what you call the privileges committee and ethics committee that has been in news. Then if you move a bit further, the Central Bureau of Investigation, role of enforcement directorate, that has remained important. Article 14, 19, 21 and 25, because 14, 19, 21 is a trinity, and 25 because of secularism and the very idea about secularism. So other than some basic text knowledge, one can read some quality literature on internet, especially related to these 3-4 articles. So I would again, just for your for academic convenience, I'll just sum up that federalism, office of governor, provisions related to delimitation, provisions related to parliament, privileges committee, ethics committee, Central Bureau of Investigation, Enforcement Directorate. I think these areas remain important. There are many more, but we have paucity of time, so I'll just summarize this.
So, managing stress and anxiety during this period is a huge challenge for the students. So, in this context, what is your advice for the student to maintain their mental health during this period and on the day of exam?
Regarding stress management, to the best of my knowledge, I do feel that this exam is more about mental endurance. I think talent and all are they're required, but not that. Mental agility, mental endurance is something that is necessary. So first thing which I would recommend, that one has to sleep very the requisite hours that is required has to be slept, because when you do away with your sleep cycle, that definitely hampers your preparation. Second thing which I will say is this: many students don't qualify because they don't know that they can qualify. This is an absolutely open-ended exam. If you have failed twice in your class 12, if you have got 45% marks in your class 12, if you have graduated in 6 years, failing every year, then also you have an equal chance to qualify in exam when compared to a graduate from an Indian Institute of Technology, or a science graduate, or a medicine graduate. So this is an open-ended exam. Never never feel low, because there have been stellar performances by students from different academic background. I personally know students who have never crossed 50% in their life or 60% in their life, and they have scored under 100 rank. So this is an open-ended exam. Every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. So please don't get demotivated. Third thing, those who have failed in prelims in the previous years, especially this message is for them. Believe me, there have been toppers, hundreds of students who have qualified prelims in their fourth, fifth attempt. So do not carry the baggage of previous year's prelims in your next prelims. Every prelims is a new thing. That is something which is I would like to emphasize. And just would like to add one more thing, that in the examination hall, you need to be happy. The answers are right before you. Even if the exam is taken after half an hour, you will qualify if you are happy. So this exam is about mental endurance. So please don't feel low about yourself. Be very confident. The answers are before you. So if you are happy and you sleep, I feel that 7-8 questions you will get anyway correct. So don't feel low. Everybody has been gifted by God in a different manner. There may be somebody who's having a strength in one area, but you are also having strength in some other area. So just be happy, and I would use the term chill.
Right, sir. So any last message for the students? You have already given a lot of advice.
Last message, I would say the key to exam is understanding the demand of exam, being mentally strong, and being happy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Dear students, we hope this video was helpful to you. With that, we wish you all the best for the upcoming prelims exam 2024.